Hello and welcome back everybody. Today I want to talk about that one thing that every series seems to be talking about, and I haven't really seen many videos revolving around My Hero Academia, but that's not to say there aren't any. And that is the next generation. Yeah, I fucking said it, guys. We're going to talk about next generation of My Hero Academia, that is the potential children of the current main cast. What could possibly go wrong, am I right? My biggest issue with this topic, and the reason why I think we don't find much of this topic around yet is, there aren't really any shipping going on in the series of My Hero Academia, and I personally am quite happy about that. I mean, you have the occasional shippings, but those are typically just taking the piss out of the series, so I don't want to go into that. But for those who are unaware what I'm talking about, there are an absolute assload of yaoi ships like Tamaki and Mirio and shit like that. So yeah, let's just stick to the most likely couples that we could be seeing, and let's talk about what their offsprings could bring us if there isn't in fact going to be a next generation series. Let's hope there isn't one though. We have Ochako Uraraka and Izuku Midoriya. Now this is pretty much the only couple that's had actual development on more than just a friendship kind of level, because in the manga there have been moments where Uraraka almost literally stated that she has a liking to Izuku. Now while the classmates haven't heard it directly, it's been shown to us viewers, or readers I guess you could call it, in such a way that we understand very well that these feelings that she has are for Izuku and no one else. Another would-be couple that's probably going to be a thing, but there hasn't really been anything concrete, and that's Momo and Todoroki. I personally can see them getting together and pumping children, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they had that moment when trying to pass the final exam or whatever right before the field trip arc. The last couple I'll bring up before we move on to the next generation talk is Mineta and Sue, and now this is quite special indeed, because a lot of people seem to think that Mineta is going to end up with Momo, or at least guessing it. But guys, Momo does not fucking want anything to do with Mineta. It's never going to happen. Let's just face the facts, okay? Instead, Mineta and Sue will most likely become a thing, because Mineta typically sits next to Sue, and we have that tongue action between Sue and Mineta, if you know what I mean. They have ended up on the same team in the cavalry battle in the sports festival arc, so they are pretty fucking tight, let's be real. There's no way around that. Okay, now let's talk about the next generation concept, and we've seen this happen in Naruto, and we might be seeing it in Fairy Tail. It's more than likely, but I fucking hope not. Regardless, if it does happen in My Hero Academia whenever the original series comes to an end, I think there will be an interesting thing to see, and that is just how the quirks will develop with the children, because it is to some degree very important what quirks the parents have. Let's talk about Ochako and Izuku for a moment. Will One for All have an influence on their child? We know it's a quirk that's passed on from user to user, so it's not the case that the child inherits it, and we've not really heard anything about anyone else outside of the people being chosen that have a similar quirk to that of One for All. So I think that One for All, strangely enough, plays a very little role in the result of the child's quirk, and it is very possible that the genetics will count Izuku as quirkless, since he was quirkless before accepting All Might's quirk. This would mean that the quirk of their child will be heavily revolving around Ochako's quirk. There's a very good chance that their child, or children even, will have quirks that is somehow similar to Ochako's zero gravity quirk. The idea is interesting to think about, even if you don't want to see a next generation series. I mean, I don't, but I would still like to see as how One for All truly reacts with an offspring, or if it does in fact act as if it's not even a quirk, you know what I'm saying? Then we of course have the Todoroki and Momo and Mineta and Sue couple, assuming they actually end up together. I mean, we don't know. Now in this case it's gonna be a very different case, of course, because since they all actually have their quirk, like they were born with their own quirks, the children will most likely be affected like, any other children would. Like, there's not gonna be anything strange about that. I don't see anything weird happening, if you know what I mean. It's either going to mix with their quirks, giving maybe Todoroki's kids the power of ice and creation. Call it ice maker magic. I'm sorry, I had to. But I think you can see where I'm going with this. At any rate, I am going to end the video here, but I'd be thrilled to see just what you guys think about this idea of the children's quirks and how they will manifest, especially the children of Midoriya and Uraraka. So yeah, comment down below what you think, and as always, if you did, please like this video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new to my channel. This has been your favorite host, Perm, and I'll see you soon.